And welcome to The Verdict. Kent Meyers and Mick Cornett joining you again this morning for another edition of The Verdict. We have got a very fine show today, a very topical show. We're going to have Steve Keenan, the general manager of the new Omni Hotel downtown. Mick, how you been?
I've been good, and maybe why I'm in such a good mood is I'm so impressed with Steve's property, the Omni. Now, it not only changes the skyline, but it changes the perception of Oklahoma and Oklahoma City particularly as a destination. And so I'm looking forward to having Steve talk about the hotel and letting people learn more about it.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I want to mention about changes, we have changed our air time. So our viewers, if we still are going to be airing at 9 a.m. Sunday morning, but we will be airing 5 additional times throughout the week. So we will have 6 airings a week rather than just the 4 we have had. And so to get the exact times, I check our website. We've got them posted.
That way people can watch it again and again and again if they want to.
Yeah, like I do. Well, keep in mind that we are having Steve Keenan as our guest, and you're watching The Verdict. We'll be right back.
Encouraging young people in the fields of science, technology, and math means to me that our country will stay on the forefront of innovation and new thinking. In First Lego League, they learn that geeky is cool, and that's the best. My name is Terry Sentner. I'm an IT specialist at the Library of Congress, and I'm a Chickasaw. When a kid goes from not ever having programmed a robot or even built something with an engine to making it drive forward, their eyes just light up. I've always been interested in science, technology, engineering, and math. Kind of goes with being an MIT graduate, I suppose. It feels so good to know that you're helping kids to become something they want to be, and they give me hope for the future. I think that there are a lot of opportunities out there for young people, especially Native Americans. Don't give up, and that's the key, is keep reaching.
See more stories about the Chickasaw people at profilesofanation.com.
When I came to work for the ODVA, I started realizing the opportunity to take care of veterans. It's a powerful thing when you realize that you are taking care of people that made history.
Working here is a calling. It's really, really important that they don't just come here to exist. We want to give them meaning to their lives. We try to make life happy and meaningful and fulfilled for our veterans.
Welcome back to The Verdict. Kent Meyers with Mick Cornett and our guest, Steve Keenan. I'm going to take just a second to introduce Steve to you, if you haven't already met him somehow here in Oklahoma City. Steve is the general manager of the new, beautiful Omni Hotel in downtown Oklahoma City, which we're going to talk a lot about on this show. But this is a homecoming for Steve. He was born in Tulsa, grew up there, went to OSU and got his degree in hotel and restaurant management, and not surprisingly, started a career in hotel and restaurant management, and has been in that now for a good period of time. He's been with Omni for 23 years. Just this last month, he hit the 23-year mark. He has been named, as I say, the general manager of the downtown hotel. He's won way too many industry awards to tick off to us today, but suffice it to say, he is well recognized in the hotel and restaurant business as being a leader, and he certainly is leading this flagship hotel in Oklahoma City. Steve, thanks for giving us your time.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a real honor and a privilege for me to be on this morning and be able to talk about our property.
Well, Steve, welcome home. And
thank you.
So I know we want to get into your background here in just a moment, but how's the first month been inside your new building?
It's been interesting. A lot of local patronage of the hotel. We've learned a lot about our operation. Our food and beverage outlets in particular have been a little bit busier than we had originally anticipated, which is a good thing, but we've had to adjust our staffing and increase our staffing in a lot of different areas and adjust our, the way we had planned on doing things. So things are going very well, very positive, a lot of good indicators.
Well, I indicated in the open that this is kind of a homecoming for you.
Yes, sir.
I know your early years were spent in Tulsa,
Correct.
and you're now in the number one city in Oklahoma.
That's right.
Oklahoma City. Tell us about your early years and what drew you to OSU, and more particularly, what drew you to hotel and restaurant management.
Sure, absolutely. I grew up in Tulsa. I attended Oklahoma State University. I knew I wanted to get into a business-related field, and I found that Oklahoma State University had a hotel and restaurant administration school, and I thought that was really neat. Kind of a special selective business entity to study and pursue. And so I went to Oklahoma State, graduated, and I started my hotel career at what was then the Westin Williams Center in Tulsa. I believe it's now the Hyatt Regency Hotel. And I spent 2 years working at the Westin Williams Center, and then transferred to Kansas City with the Westin in Kansas City, and spent about 7 years. Had a lot of wonderful opportunities at that property in Kansas City, and then I joined Omni Hotels and have been with Omni Hotels for 23 years now, and I've moved around quite a bit. Never thought that I'd have the opportunity to come back to Oklahoma, but I feel very privileged to have the opportunity to come back to my home state and introduce this great brand, Omni Hotels and Resorts, to Oklahoma City. And again, we just have a wonderful brand. We have a great product. We have a great service level. And so I'm very excited to be in my home state and being a part of this great hotel.
What was the decision process like? What appealed to Omni about Oklahoma City when it could obviously be in a lot of different markets?
Absolutely. We're very selective.
Besides its former mayor. Go ahead.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Mick, you played a large role in this. You're a visionary, and it led to the hotel and the convention center coming to fruition. But it really all started in the 90s, prior to our current ownership even purchasing Omni Hotels and Resorts, with the MAPS program. I mean, the MAPS program really paved the way for where we are today. And so our company and ownership recognized that Oklahoma City had a lot going for it, that there was a vision, and that we could really make a mark in Oklahoma City and ensure that we had an opportunity to make Oklahoma City a destination in the convention industry. And so that's what we're doing now.
Well, Steve, let me get slightly personal with you. How's your family settling in?
Well, family's good. I came up here in February. I relocated from Corpus Christi. I was the general manager of that property for 7 years. And so we had been in that city and in that state of Texas for quite a while. And I came up in February. My son was finishing his senior year in high school. And so I came up in February. My family came up, my family being my son and my wife, came up in August. We moved into our home in September. My son is now enrolled at the University of Oklahoma. And my middle daughter, is still in Corpus Christi pursuing her master's degree. She's attending the Corpus Christi Texas A&M University. And my oldest daughter lives in Dallas with her husband and son. And so anyways, we're here in Oklahoma City. My wife just told me last month that she's very happy here in Oklahoma City. And I think it's important to say because we had been in Texas and in Corpus Christi for so long. We were very involved in the community, and it was kind of tough for my wife to pick up and leave. And but she loves it here in Oklahoma, and we're happy to be here. And what they say, if mom's not happy, nobody's happy. And so it's nice to say that we're all happy.
Well, that is really good, particularly in a time like we're experiencing now.
Yes, sir.
Let's take a minute, actually 2 or 3 minutes, and let's do some slides.
Okay.
Some pictures of the Omni Hotel, and I'm going to ask you to take the burden of kind of narrating these slides, if you don't mind, and tell our viewers what they're looking at. And then when you're finished, you can change to the next slide. So go ahead.
Sounds good.
I guess we're getting those up.
The hotel looks a lot like Kent. Well, Steve, you can, as you start to talk about it, 17 floors, is that right?
17 floors, 7 food and beverage outlets. Just an item of interest, our 17th floor was designed with NBA teams in mind, in that we have the higher door frames and wider door frames. We have California Kings in each of the rooms on the 17th floor. We have the taller shower heads. And so we're really working with the NBA right now and trying to secure the teams that travel into Oklahoma City to play the Thunder, and we're trying to secure that business at our hotel. And so far, the feedback has been very positive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know how you could be located in any better spot. I think you're right in between, are you not? The Cox Chesapeake Arena, and the new convention center.
That's correct. We are directly south of the Chesapeake Arena, right across the street, and we're just directly north of the brand new convention center. And of course, we're adjacent to the Scissortail Park. So, and of course, the streetcar is right across the street from our hotel, one of the stations that'll take our guests and conventioneers to some nightlife areas in Bricktown and of course the Midtown areas. So we are in what we consider to be the perfect location here in Oklahoma City.
Well, let me ask you another question about the hotel. How many guests could you accommodate if you were full?
Well, we have 605 guest rooms. And so, our maximum occupancy in our guest room is 4 people. Of course, that doesn't happen on a consistent basis, but, in the thousands. I mean, literally the thousands of people, a couple thousand people in the hotel at a given time, once we get our legs under us and the convention business rebounds, is not out of the question.
Well, I think it'd be a good time now to take a break. We'll check on the slides when we come back. Okay. You're watching The Verdict with Steve Keenan, the general manager of the Omni Hotel, and Mick Cornett. We'll be right back.
OU Law has a history and heritage that are unparalleled. At the University of Oklahoma College of Law, we empower our students to pursue the career of their dreams. We have the highest U.S. News ranking ever achieved by an Oklahoma law school. We are the first law school in the country to launch a college-wide digital initiative, and this year, our competition teams rank number 2 in the nation. OU Law, generations of excellence, limitless possibilities.
I wanted to become a princess ever since I was little. Being crowned is an amazing feeling. It means everything to me to represent my tribe, especially as princess.
The Chickasaw Princess program has been in existence since 1963. The leadership and the skills that we learn as being the Chickasaw Princess has been handed down from generation to generation.
We're the ambassadors of the Chickasaw Nation for a year.
We're a special group of ladies that have represented different governors and lieutenant governors over the years.
I would tell young girls who want to become a princess just to go for it. Don't let any barriers stop you from doing what you want to do.
There are some dynamic young ladies that are going to be great ambassadors for the Chickasaw Nation out there. Once a princess, always a princess, with honor and dignity.
See more stories about the Chickasaw people at profilesofanation.com.
Welcome back to The Verdict. Kent Meyers and Mick Cornett with Steve Keenan, the general manager of the new Omni Hotel in downtown Oklahoma City. Steve, one thing we didn't talk about, but tell our viewers about, from the standpoint of the guest, what are the convenience factors that they acquire when they decide to stay at your hotel in downtown?
Sure. Well, we touched on the fact that we have a prime location here in Oklahoma City that's accessible to all areas of town and nightlife. But one of the biggest features of our hotel is the fact that, we have so many amenities that our guests can enjoy. As I touched on, once we're fully open, we'll have 7 food and beverage outlets available to our guests. We have a full Macara spa, which is located on our 3rd floor. It's a full spa with manicure, pedicure, hairstyling station. We have 8 treatment rooms, including a couples treatment room. We have a dining area in the spa. We have male locker rooms, female locker rooms, as well as a full relaxation room. Also on the 3rd floor is our pool area. It's a huge outdoor recreation area. It's a Las Vegas style pool area, if you will, with complete with cabanas, has a hot tub and a fire pit, as well as a full bar and grill that's located right next to the pool. So, having said that, we also have the Oklahoma City Tap House, which is a 2-story sports bar. And then we also have our Bob's Steak and Chop House, which is our fine dining prime steakhouse, and our Park Grounds coffee shop, Starbucks style coffee shop. And it's all on the west side of the building, easily accessed from outside. But, I mentioned all these amenities because truly a guest can come to our hotel for a weekend and not leave and find a lot of activities and in restaurants and food and beverage options at their fingertips. So it's truly a destination for staycations, if you will. Yeah. And so we think that that's going to be very popular as we work our way through the pandemic. And it's already proven to be so with our weekend business really peaking with a lot of local patronage, as I mentioned earlier in the show. But once we open up our pool deck and the weather's more conducive to outdoor activities, we think in the Scissortail Park starts having their events. We think that the staycation business is really going to carry us through the summer months leading up towards the 3rd quarter of the year, where we really start seeing group business picking up. We are a convention hotel. We do rely on the group convention business here at this hotel and the property. And so 3rd quarter, 4th quarter looks like we gained some ground as far as the group business. And then the future years look very positive. So we're very encouraged by that. But it truly is. It's a hotel you can check in and don't have to leave. You have everything at your fingertips.
That's my kind of hotel.
Yes, sir.
What's the process of having to hire so many people so quickly?
Well, we did, with the pandemic, it was uncharted territory, if you will. We did virtual hiring through a website, and it's very similar to the way we're set up right now with Zoom. And we did a mass hiring hall virtually. And so a lot of the HR directors from around the company participated so that they could help us funnel through the applicants. And, when we launched it and advertised it, we had over 500 applicants that responded, that we had interviews lined up with, again, virtual interviews. And those people that were selected that we were interested in, we brought in for in-person interviews. And out of the gate, we hired just under 100 hourly associates through that program. And since then, we've been hiring just normally as far as applicants showing up to the hotel. And we've grown our hourly associate roster from under 100 up to close to 130 right now, just as we've seen the increase in business volume that we really did not anticipate. So far, the opening's gone very well, and we're very encouraged by what we see in the Oklahoma City market.
This show is seen throughout the state of Oklahoma. Can you describe the restaurants? Because, a lot of people from the state might say, well, I wouldn't stay there, but I would like to come in and see it. What can they do in these visits that they could make?
Oh, absolutely. First, let me say that you'll see a lot of local and regional inspiration incorporated into the design throughout the hotel. And what I mean by that, you'll see a lot of natural textiles like stone, leather, and metal throughout the hotel, especially in our lobby. And as far as inspiration, One of my favorite inspirations is the fact that our wall lamps in all of our guest rooms resemble a oil pump jack, which is really cool. I mean, we have oil pump jacks obviously throughout the state and of course on our Capitol grounds, but you also see the chevron pattern, kind of the chevron pattern throughout the hotel that resembles the scissor-tail flycatcher bird. And you'll see that incorporated into our subtly in our carpeting and some of our millwork in the boardrooms. And you'll see little hints of that throughout the hotel. And I bring that up just to let viewers know that kind of transpires over into our food and beverage outlets. In the Tap House, which is our 2-level sports bar, we have kind of an upscale bar food menu. It's very good. Feedback's been very great from our guests. But it's very Sooner, Cowboy, Thunder themed. Very Oklahoma. And then you transfer over to the Bob's Steak and Chop House. You'll see the Oklahoma flag, and there's a flag indicating that our state was the 46th state in the nation. And you'll see cattle, of course, and you'll see some pictures back in the old land rush days at the booths in the restaurant. So a lot of tips of the hat to Oklahoma heritage and Oklahoma's history throughout the building.
What special challenges from a health prevention standpoint have you had to deal with the COVID pandemic?
Sure. Obviously the pandemic has really thrown our industry for a loop. And as I mentioned, I was here in February working at a remote office, catty corner to where we are now. And it was just me and the sales team leading up to, the third and fourth quarter where we really started hiring on managers. And, we saw our company shut down almost. I mean, it was really some scary times. We saw a lot of our hotels were closed because, the larger hotels that rely on group business, there's no group business comes in March and April. So they literally shut the hotels down. And we saw a lot of our friends, I've been to the company 23 years, saw a lot of people furloughed. And our company actually went from roughly 20,000 employees to just a little over 1,800. So it was some very, we learned a lot about, what needs to be done and how to move forward. Fortunately, we have an ownership group, our ownership family, actually. It's one family that owns our company. And he was committed to Oklahoma City, and our project continued. So, again, our group business, as we went through the year, we weren't very successful in booking group business. The key for us here in Oklahoma City right now is we need to bring the convention planners and people that influence the convention business into Oklahoma City so we can show what we have. I mean, we have so much going for us in Oklahoma City. And the key is to bring those people in and really tour them, show them our property, show them the beautiful convention center we have next door to us. And so that we can really start growing the convention industry here in Oklahoma City. So the pandemic has been a big setback for us. We're really starting to plan. Yes, sir.
Excuse me, we are out of time. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I hate that. That's being rude, but we just have run out of time. But thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Best of luck to you.
Thanks for your time.
Folks, you're watching The Verdict with Steve Keenan, and we've been talking about the Omni Hotel. Mick and I will be right back.
It used to be okay in teachers' lounges. It used to be okay in maternity wards. It was okay in sporting arenas, college campuses, and office spaces. But now that we understand the deadly dangers of secondhand smoke, that's not okay anymore. So why is it okay that thousands of employees are exposed to it every day at work? Bottom line, it's not okay. Let's protect hardworking Oklahomans. Join the fight at stopswithme.com.
All children deserve a life of hope and love. But sometimes they experience a life of pain, neglect, and abuse.
When that happens, each child deserves all the quality assistance and representation that can be offered in our legal system. For more information, call 23-CHILD.
Oklahoma Lawyers for Children. helping to bring hope and love back to the lives of abused children.
You will always be Mom and Dad to me.
I think for us, once we got started and we began to see the tremendous need just within our state, it really was just a calling for us. The blessings far outweigh any obstacles that we've faced.
You will always be Mom and Dad to me.
The Journal-Record is pleased to be a sponsor of The Verdict. The Journal-Record, since 1903, the best source of Oklahoma business news and legal information.
Welcome back to The Verdict. Kent Meyers with Mick Cornett. We just finished visiting with Steve Keenan, the general manager of the Omni Hotel in downtown Oklahoma City. Mick, what'd you think?
Well, good to see Steve come back home. He's touched all the bases now, just about. He grew up in Tulsa, went to school in Stillwater, and is now leading the largest, most prominent hotel in the state, the Omni in downtown Oklahoma City. And it's just rave reviews early on. I urge everyone to go over there and look at it and encourage their family and friends from other parts of the country to come see it as well. Their website is omnihotels.com. Our website is theverdict.tv. We'll see you next week with another show.